Hello, my name is Shelby Jackson Register, and I'm going to discuss why I'm taking this course, Wildlife Management, at American Public University. Besides this course being part of my pursuit of my Master's of Science in Environmental Policy and Management with a focus on fish and wildlife management, I actively volunteer in teaching naturalist courses in my local area of Northwest Georgia, and I am pursuing my license as a wildlife rehabilitator here in the state of Georgia. My main focus area for wildlife management is human-wildlife interactions. While many people think of human-wildlife interactions as more of the novelty human-wildlife encounters, I am researching and discussing human-wildlife interactions as it pertains to humans' encounters with wildlife in their natural habitats. Human-wildlife interactions often have negative outcomes. These outcomes are brought about by suburban and urban residents not having basic knowledge of wildlife behavior, such as diet, breeding, and survival needs. This lack of understanding results in the creation and sharing of incorrect information. The incorrect information results in higher mortality rates for local wildlife. This is a problem that can be ended as well as prevented with education. Between October and November 2017, I conducted independent research on some identified areas of concern in the Metro Atlanta and North Georgia areas. This research focused on voluntary surveys regarding basic understanding of wildlife concepts, understanding of coyotes in the Suburban Coyote Project, and details regarding watershed plant and animal life by discussing the Etowah River watershed. The first survey I conducted covered basic terms and issues in 7 Metro Atlanta areas. The mean age of the participant was 41 years of age. Most of the participants had higher levels of education, including undergraduate and graduate degrees. The questions included the familiarity of terms and concepts as they pertain to the environment and wildlife and the areas in which the participants resided. Overall, there was a total of 1,120 participants. When asked about biological diversity, or biodiversity, and the ability to accurately describe what it was or what it meant, only 42.9% of the total participants could correctly identify and describe biodiversity. Only 85.7% were familiar with what non-native invasive species were and could identify some. This is concerning, as we have a main non-native invasive plant species in Georgia called kudzu vine, which is prevalent all across the state. 71% of the participants were confident they could correctly identify 5 or more animal species in their area. Unfortunately, 29% of the persons could only identify 3 species in their area. A staggering 86% of participants did not know of at least one threatened or endangered plant or animal species in their area. And most of the person's information about wildlife came from the internet and the news, and news sources included television and the internet. Coyotes are prevalent in suburban and urban areas of the Metro Atlanta, Georgia area. They are the size of an average domestic dog, but are actual enemies to domestic dogs. I conducted a survey in October 2017 to gauge the public's knowledge and opinion on coyotes with which they have encountered. One of the more surprising areas was that of coy dogs, and how the majority of respondents believed coy dogs were a serious threat, going as far as to warn people about leaving domestic dogs outside for fear of interbreeding with coyotes. Coy dogs exist due to human forced intervention with reproductive processes. In other words, humans are the ones responsible for the existence of coy dogs by forcefully interbreeding them for reasons unknown. Most persons stated coyotes were a nuisance and a real threat to human health, including the belief that coyotes would kill a human without provocation or reason. Persons stated that they wanted coyotes in their area quote-unquote dead or quote-unquote trapped and relocated because of these fears. Most of the persons polled did not have basic, factual knowledge about coyotes or their behavior. The Etowah River is in my area and is around 160 miles long and ranges with headwaters near the Appalachian Trail in northeast Georgia and then extends southwards to the congruence with the Oostenaula River before entering the Coosa River in northwest Georgia. The Etowah River and the surrounding watershed is one of the most biologically rich for its size in the United States. The majority of the Etowah River is on private land or obscured from public view, which makes it often the least thought of river in Georgia. Some aquatic species not only exist in the Etowah River, but also exist just in small portions of it. There are 16 threatened or endangered species found in the watershed, including the gray Myotis bat. A survey I conducted in October 2017 revealed a lack of knowledge for the term watershed, as well as wildlife, insect to terrestrial, found in the watershed. There is a clear lack of knowledge and lack of education pertaining to wildlife and wildlife management in this area, which makes me believe that the same lack of knowledge could be widespread to other areas in the United States and the world. There are 3 keys to success I've identified when it comes to wildlife management and specifically human-wildlife interactions. Interactions should be relevant to specific areas. This includes an example of suburban and urban areas and coyotes. Addressing incorrect information and offering education to end and prevent this incorrect information from being continuously shared is also a key to success. Finally, keeping updated on advances and changes with wildlife management, especially in terms of technological growth, is important. There have been some advances in wildlife management. Technology has helped scientists obtain data on wildlife and habitats that was not possible in the past. This includes artificial intelligence, such as the Terra-I that uses real-time rainfall data to predict how green a given habitat should be and then matches that data against satellite imagery. Terra-I also learns as it gathers data. Drones, while still a point of controversy, helps to provide viewing of wildlife and habitats that could not be performed in the past from foot patrol field studies. Infrared trail cameras capture animals in remote habitats and can monitor rare animals or nocturnal animals. Live camera feeds, such as webcams, can be used to spy on wildlife and promote the support of conservation to the general public by allowing the public to see these animals in their natural habitats. Bioacoustics is relatively new and is used to determine biodiversity of an area by recording soundscapes and to determine what species currently exist. Enhanced wildlife tracking, including tagging chips and collars, helps scientists to be able to monitor various information on populations. The photo shown here was taken by me in Rocky Mountain National Park in July 2017. There are 2 cows wearing tracking collars for elk population and movement monitoring within the park. Additionally, DNA analysis of wildlife diets can help with analyzing population genetics. There are some outcomes that I expect out of this wildlife management course as they pertain to my future career and teaching. These outcomes are best summarized in the course objectives: the application of ecological concepts and principles to wildlife management and conservation issues, evaluation methods to determine population abundance, growth, and survivorship, the habitat requirements for common species as well as threatened and endangered species of wildlife, collaborative efforts in wildlife management, including adaptive management plans and other areas, ecosystem management for wildlife conservation and management, and regulations and issues pertaining to wildlife conservation and management. It is my belief that focusing on human-wildlife interactions will help to promote factual information that will lead to positive changes in conservation and wildlife management locally as well as throughout the United States and other areas of the world.